Let's hit some anytime goal scorers as well as safe shots from goal for some of these goalies. Give me both teams to score in the first period. That's coming in at plus 185 compared to the over 1.5 that is at minus 120. Okay, you guys ready? Let's make some freaking money. It's time for Pocket with Jo. Good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Jo here of SportsGrid. It's time for Pocket with Jo over here on SportsGrid TV. Now, yesterday's bets, man, they went completely south. The hardwood was dead for me. The overs that I loved went under. The unders went over. Just not the day I was hoping for. But we did get some of those player props. We were able to get Sidney Crosby for the goal. If you parlayed Will Smith, Celebrini, Tyler Toffoli for a point, that came in nicely. There's a couple other players that we did make some money with, a couple other games that we did cash in on. But I tell you, it's always those losses that you remember the most. And I was thinking of you, Dennis, when you called out Corey Perry yesterday in the chat, and Corey Perry came in and scored versus the Seattle Kraken. Connor McDavid was able to get a goal in that game, as well as the Edmonton Oilers won 4-2. Leon Draisaitl with the assist, but we did not see Connor McDavid get 2 points in that game. So just 1 point for the anytime goal. Hopefully you guys jumped on that. It was a little juicy there for that anytime goal. But if you got Corey Perry, I tell you, Dennis, that was a nice payday for you with Corey Perry there in that one. Let's jump into today's games. You guys, we have 8 games to go over today. Lots of opportunities to jump in and make some money. Now we're going to kick it off with the Chicago Blackhawks. They're taking on the Tampa Bay Lightning. So Chicago is out on the road. We're looking at the lines on this one. The Tampa Bay Lightning are huge favorite, almost a $4 favorite here at home. They're returning from a road trip, though, so never a really good place for a team. This is the first game home, all 4 games on the road, and then you look at the sandwich spot. They have the LA Kings on Thursday. It's just not a spot where I even want to lay the puck line here with the Tampa Bay Lightning, even though they have a possibility of winning this in a 4-1 style game. Their puck line minus 1.5 is minus 150. So I think if you like the Tampa Bay Lightning, hope for the Chicago Blackhawks to get out first and then come back in on them. At this price, it's unbettable for me to look at the Tampa Bay Lightning on the puck line or the money line. Total of 6.5 in this one, minus 118 to the under. When we look here at the Chicago Blackhawks, their biggest struggle on the season is their defense. Peter Mrazek, you got to feel for him. He's already faced like 850-something shots on his goal, which leads to him having such a low save percentage of 895 and a 3.26 goals against average because he gets no support from the defense. And then when we look at Connor Bedard out there, Connor Bedard, he needs help as well. So we need other players to step up. Connor Bedard can't get everything done. Tyler Bertuzzi, we know, we love what he's been able to do, Tara Vinen, but we need another step up level. Now, Taylor Hall has left this team and is now with the Colorado Avalanche, so something to remember on the defensive side of things. So when we look at the Tampa Bay Lightning, they should be able to score. They've scored 3 or more goals in 6 of their last 10 games. They should be able to get those shots on Peter Mrazek. Now, Andre Vasilevsky is expected in goal for them tonight. They're sitting 5th in the Atlantic. Strong home record here. 15-6-1 at home. They did win this last meeting with Chicago 4-3. This was in overtime just 4 days ago, back on the 24th. So that was last Friday, I believe. That would have been the 24th. The Chicago Blackhawks went up first in that. It's a Friday, Freaky Friday. You know, everything happens out there. It wouldn't have been last Friday. We're only Tuesday. It's crazy to think we're Tuesday. For some reason, I was thinking we're already at Thursday. The week is going by so slowly. For me, it feels like, which is so weird. But yeah, if you look here at the Tampa Bay Lightning, they had to fight their way back. Chicago went out first, 3-1, and pushed it. And then Tampa came back and pushed it to OT. So they got that 4-3 win in overtime. When we look at Tampa, they've dominated these matchups, winning 9 of the last 10. I do think it should be a strong way to look at Tampa to come home here. Their last game was a loss versus the Red Wings. They got shut out on the road, 2-0. So look for Tampa to come out strong in the first period. We might see Chicago fight their way back into it. That'd be a live betting situation for Chicago because I told you I don't like the puck line here. for the Tampa Bay Lightning, but that doesn't mean I love the puck line for Chicago either. So what I'm looking at here is the Chicago Blackhawks right now are plus 1.5 at plus 122. If the Tampa Bay Lightning can go up in the first period, cover the puck line, which I'm going to bet. The puck line here in the first period, laying the half a goal for the Tampa Bay Lightning is what I will take. And I apologize, FanDuel doesn't have their odds on this right now. Everything is locked up. But if you lay the half a goal in the first period with the Tampa Bay Lightning, we're going to get some plus money. They're only slight probably because we know they're such a huge favorite. So plus 110-ish, even if it's minus 110 laying the half a goal in the first period, I feel comfortable with that. We know the Chicago Blackhawks have struggled on the road. They've lost their last 7. But if we see Tampa go up, by a goal in that first, we should be getting a 2.5 here for the Chicago Blackhawks even. And I do think at a 2.5, I'd come back in on Chicago to keep it within a goal in this matchup. Now, Connor Bedard, has to have come out so strong in this matchup. And Frank Nazar has been strong, getting goals. He's got a goal in the last 2 here for Chicago. So I don't really want to take anything on Chicago, but if I do see Tampa go up first, that's where I'll come back in on Chicago just because of the sandwich spot. Home off a road trip here for the Tampa Bay Lightning with the Kings on deck. And then the revenge angle here for the Chicago Blackhawks. Can they bring it? They're going to have to play their best form of hockey. Now, I do like the player props here better for the Tampa Bay Lightning. I love Tampa in the first period. Alpha shutout loss. Coming home, they should step up. So Tampa first period puck line, and then Nikita Kucherov. Nikita Kucherov for the goals coming in at plus 115. 2+ points isn't out of the question for Nikita Kucherov as well. He leads this team with 73 points for the Tampa Bay Lightning. He has, in the last game on the 24th, he had 3 points versus Chicago. So 2+ points for Nikita Kucherov, not out of the question mark as well tonight. Braden Point for the anytime goal. You should be able to see the Tampa Bay Lightning score on the power play. So if you want to look at those power play points, another solid way to go. Yeah, Rob, need a big bounce back today. No doubt you on the New Jersey Devils game. You were so right. Oh, you got the New Jersey Devils game. I'm glad that you cashed on that one, I tell you. Well, there's some of those games we cashed and then some were completely wrong. The Carolina Hurricanes take on the New York Rangers. This is going to be interesting to see how Carolina comes out in this one. We know Mikko Rantanen added to this team from Colorado. Now, the Canes are coming in as a minus 146 favorite. We know the inconsistencies this team has had out there on the road. Will the addition of Mikko Rantanen solve those? I don't know. The New York Rangers are a dog at plus 122, total of 5.5, minus 128 to the over. If it wasn't for the trade, everything that happened with the trade, I would be backing the New York Rangers. So now I sit here and go, am I overvaluing Mikko Rantanen on the Carolina Hurricanes? And I don't think so. He instantly, for me, made the Carolina Hurricanes a playoff team. And not just a playoff team, a team that has the ability to hoist the cup. Mikko Rantanen should put this team, which is so strong defensively, into more of an offensive situation. And I do think those goals are going to come out of the Carolina Hurricanes. But then I look at the goaltending matchup today. This total has a total of 5.5, minus 128 to the over, and I can't touch it. I do think this one goes under the total at plus 104 to the under 5.5 is where my money is going to go. Now, yesterday, my totals were completely off with the Kings game and the Penguins and Sharks game. So I understand if you want to take this over the 5.5, but I look at the goaltending matchup, and yes, Frederick Anderson coming off a terrible game versus the Columbus Blue Jackets. In that game, he allowed 4 goals and 22 shots. We knew that he was in for a bad game, right? Like the first game that he came out, I can't remember coming back from injury if it was the Chicago Blackhawks or who it was, and he looked like an absolute stud back out on the ice. We know he's that kind of goaltender, or maybe it was the Islanders. I can't remember. So a couple games ago, Frederick Anderson in that start, he just looked phenomenal. And then he faced the Columbus Blue Jackets, who have been able to really pressure the goaltenders and put up those goals. And in that game, he allowed those goals to come in. So I'm looking for a bounce back here. Honestly, out of Frederick Anderson, I think he's better than we saw in that last game. We expected that letdown spot. And I do think the bounce back is here. Igor Shesterkin on the other side, it's incredibly hard to fade Igor Shesterkin. He's playing lights out in January, going 6-1-1 with a .929 save percentage. I'm not stepping in front of Igor. So Freddie Anderson versus Igor Shesterkin. Sign me up for the under at plus 104. I think this is a low scoring game. This is my game that I want to alt under 4.5 as well. I think it can be that low scoring. Now, back in December, we did see that low scoring matchup between these two with the Carolina Hurricanes getting the 3-1 win. So I think we've got a very similar one here. Now, Mikko Rantanen in that last game, first game out there on the ice for the Carolina Hurricanes, he played 18 minutes. He had 5 shots on goal. Taylor Hall played right around 10, 11 minutes. So he was able to lay out 3 hits. So both of them being impactful in that first one. I would look at Mikko Rantanen if someone's going to score here. I do think Mikko Rantanen with Sebastian Aho, you see those two both getting a point tonight. One gets a goal, one gets the assist. I would expect Mikko Rantanen to get that goal tonight. So I would look there. But again, we're looking at a lower scoring game, so very hard to look at playmakers here and be able to hit them in what I expect to be a 2-1 style win for one of these teams. When we look here at the Rangers, they've allowed only 14 goals in the past 6 games that Igor has been able to get the start. So that is a heck of a lot, a heck of a little goals, right, for them to allow. So I do think here we're going to see that 2-1 style win for one of these teams. It was a 3-1 win in the last one. Can we see overtime? I do think we could see overtime between these two teams. Let's just see if FanDuel has the overtime bet up right now. Some of these lines are locked. And yeah, we're getting the lines locked here. Sorry, guys. I have a watery, twitchy eye, which is just driving me crazy today. The lines are locked on FanDuel. So I do think you look at this one to go to overtime. I'm expecting it to be between plus 290 and plus 320. So either way, it has a value there, even at plus 290. I think this game can be that tight between these two. So 2 hot goaltenders, one needing a bounce back, one that's been rolling hot. Give me the under and give me the first period under 1.5 as well. And then the overtime bet in this one. Good morning, Kev. I hope you're having a great day. The Winnipeg Jets and the Boston Bruins on the money line. Yeah, that seems like a money maker today for sure. Winnipeg taking on Montreal and Boston taking on the Sabres. So let's jump in to that matchup with the Boston Bruins and the Buffalo Sabres. Looking at current lines on this one, Boston rolling in as a short favorite on the road, minus 114. The Buffalo Sabres here at home versus a team they always struggle against are minus 105, total of 5.5. The juice to the total is on the over, minus 130 to the over. And I do think this game goes over that total of 5.5. I can't see it staying under. I think we're going to see offensive production out of the Boston Bruins. We look at the Boston Bruins in the last 10 meetings versus the Buffalo Sabres, and they're averaging just over 4 goals per game. So we should see them be able to light the lamp here. Lankincan expected in goal. And then Swayman here will be in net for the Boston Bruins. You guys know I don't have that much trust in Swayman this season. We saw the Bruins win that matchup in December. They got that 3-1 win. The Bruins are 8-1-1 in the last 10 meetings, and they've won the last 6 in Buffalo and covered the puck line in all of them. So if you want to look at the Bruins on the puck line, you guys, it's a short price in the money line, though, at minus 114. That puck line laying 1.5 goals is coming in at plus 220. I don't blame you because they have been able to do this. Now, Buffalo versus Boston in the last 10 meetings has only averaged 1.6 goals per game. So they've really struggled to score. But like I said, I haven't had that faith in Swayman this season. We do have a Sabres team coming off 2 losses. They're going to be hungry. This first period, we know, is a strong suit for the Buffalo Sabres. They come out, they push in that first period. They can never hold on to whatever advantages they grab in that first. I do think the first period over 1.5 is a really solid way to look, and I think both teams can score in the first period. I'll be looking at both teams to score in the first period. That fast start out of both of these teams, both of these goaltenders getting hit, and then the Bruins locking down the Sabres. We know how strong this team is at limiting opponents when they decide to play that defensive style of hockey. I do think, though, Boston should be able to go over their team total of 3.5. Now, who's going to get those goals out there for Boston? I am looking at David Pastrnak here for the anytime goal. I think he comes out nice and strong. You can also look at Morgan Geekie here. He has scored a goal in 4 of the last 5 road games for the Boston Bruins, and we should see those goals coming in for the Bruins on Lankaken. So that is where I'm looking in this. If you want a playmaker here for the Buffalo Sabres, Jason Zucker on that second line is a really interesting look. He has 16 goals and 20 assists with 9 goals and 6 assists on that power play. So Zucker's really been stepping up. And Tage Thompson. We always go to Tage Thompson, 22 goals and 18 assists, 4 goals and 7 assists on the power play. So super strong here for the Buffalo Sabres. I love Tage. I love Zucker. But Pastor and Geeky, I like better here for the Boston Bruins. I think it's a higher scoring game, though. I think it goes over the total. I think the Sabres give us a goal in the first, maybe a goal in the second, and Boston gives us 4. So that puts us right at 6. We got a total of 5.5 minus 130 to the over. I love it. Pastor for the 2 points from Dennis and Zaka for the assist. Yeah, it should be a great way to go with that one. Zaka for the assist. Okay. Joe, you took Edmonton in regulation last night versus the Kraken. I bet you it absolutely killed you, Joe, to bet against your Kraken. I'm sorry you guys lost, and hopefully you have better success versus the Ducks today. But hard situation coming off that game versus the Edmonton Oilers. Pasta Zaka. Yeah, it's a good way to go. Okay, let's get into the next game here. The Winnipeg Jets are taking on the Montreal Canadiens. Now, Winnipeg is a minus 164 favorite. They're coming off the win versus the Calgary Flames, 5-2. The Montreal Canadiens are plus 136. We know this home dog has pulled off some incredible wins. Total sitting at 5.5 minus 130 to the over, plus 106 to the under. The Winnipeg Jets on the puck line, laying a goal and a half, is plus 152. Montreal Canadiens plus 1.5 minus 188. That's out of range. I do think Winnipeg can start off strong. Connor Hellebuck is so fantastic between the pipes. And we look here at Montreal. Sam Montague expected. He has been strong in his last 5. He's been really limiting opponents out there. So Sam Montague getting into better form as of late. Now, will this game stay under? I don't want anything to do with the under for the full game, but I do think we could have a strong start in this one, but one where Winnipeg probably scores 1 goal in the first period, and then I want nothing to do with the total. So I'd look at the first period under 1.5 and the Jets on the puck line. If I'm picking one over the other, it's the Jets on the puck line in the first period, laying that half a goal. I do think they come out strong. We've seen Montreal get off to slow starts in these games. They've lost their last 4 first periods, and I do think the Jets can come in and win that first period. This is the first game on the road for them of 3. Thursday, they have the Bruins and the Capitals out there on Saturday. So getting off to a fast start in this game should be where they go. Now, the thing with Montreal, they've been able to record points in 5 of their last 6 games. They've needed third period comebacks to be able to do so. So you look at the Montreal Canadiens, and yeah, I want to see the Jets go up in the first. Then the Jets get a couple more goals in the second, and then Montreal should be plus 2.5, even plus 3.5 at one point on the puck line. If we see the Jets go up 3-0, we should be able to see something like that. And then I want to come back in on the Montreal Canadiens, because that third period is where they've been coming alive and they've been getting those goals and they've been pushing these opponents to overtime or being able to record the win. So Montreal is a great team to bet live to get the comeback win. Now, right now, they're not enough on the money line. And at what point would I say, okay, give me Montreal straight up on the money line? They're plus 136 right now on the money line. If we do see the Winnipeg Jets go up 3-0, could we see in the first period? Yeah, we could. I would come back in on Montreal plus the 2.5 plus the 3.5, whatever they're giving you there on the puck line. And then you guys know if I'm doing that, I'm going to put a tiny sprinkle because they have every possibility. This team never says die. Paul Caulfield, Nick Suzuki, Patrick Kane, Patrick Liney, they've been strong out there and they fight back. So a small sprinkle and just some coffee money on that money line if they do go down by 3 goals would be something I would do, because we know they're going to be plus 800. But the main play will be on that puck line plus 2.5. I do think they can keep it within that number, just with how Sam Montague has been playing. And we've got a strong kill here for the Montreal Canadiens. They're 9th in their kill, 81.7%. Best power play in the league, though, here for the Winnipeg Jets. So we've got to see Montreal absolutely not get in the box. That's a dangerous situation to get in the box versus the Winnipeg Jets. Winnipeg coming off a nice win with the Bruins and the Capitals at the second and third game of this road trip. I think this could be a little bit of a spot here where Montreal could at least make it tight to finish. They've lost their last two. They lost that last game in overtime to the New Jersey Devils. So they were against a really strong team, and the New Jersey Devils losing 4-3 in overtime. Just value on them to finish this game. So best bet is first period puck line for the Winnipeg Jets, and then live bet the situation here. The last time these teams played, it was a 4-2 win here for the Winnipeg Jets. So let's jump into the next one, you guys. The Colorado Avalanche taking on the New York Islanders. Yeah, Suzuki should be able to get the point. Pass or Winnipeg for the first period. Yeah, Winnipeg should be able to come out and get that first period win. They were able to versus the Calgary Flames as well. Okay, so next game here. The Colorado Avalanche taking on the Islanders. This is an interesting one. These teams trend highly to that over. The last time they met in New York, we saw 11 goals, you guys. Got a total of 5.5 minus 120 to the over. Give me the over all day long. The Colorado Avalanche could go off and score all of those goals themselves in this matchup. We know the Islanders struggles. They struggle on the power play. They struggle on the kill. Colorado should be able to take advantage of that. Look for that top power play to be able to click tonight. Look for those power play points as well. Now, minus 146 is a light line here for Colorado, and a plus 122. It feels like the books are trying to tell us something, but I can't get there. Goaltending matchup is Mackenzie Blackwood versus Sorokin. Sorokin has been solid in net for the New York Islanders. So I think those shots are coming out of Colorado. I think the Avs win. I expect them to get 4 goals in this game and for the Islanders to get 2. So for this game to go over that total of 5.5. The last time these teams met in October, we did see the Isles win 6-2. So we saw a great performance out of them. Again, these teams trend to that over if you want to jump in on the over 5.5. I do think we look at the top line and we look at those players, and I like the player points a lot better than jumping on the side. Because like I said, sometimes you got to look at the lines and go, why are the books only putting Colorado as a minus 142 favorite? Why aren't they a minus 180? Why aren't they a 2-1 favorite in this one? Well, what do they know? Because we've got the Islanders, like I said, struggle on the power play, struggle on the kill. They're only averaging 2.67 goals per game. The Avs averaging 3.27, and I know they lost Mikko Rantanen, but you put Natchez in this lineup here on that top line with Nathan McKinnon, and you have a solid duel out there. Tandem is what I'm looking for. Solid tandem out there on that top line, and I do think you look at Martin Natchez here for the 2+ points tonight. You look at him for the goal. You look at him in the last game. Fine, like he got out in this game versus who did they play in that last game? The Rangers. Yeah. So he came out in the game versus the Rangers and he acclimated right away to this team. He was able to get 2 assists in that first game, 3 shots on goal. He's so fast out there, and you saw him in that game with Colorado. It looked like he'd been playing with this team all season. So I do think you look at Natchez tonight with Nathan McKinnon. We know how competitive Nathan McKinnon is. Both of those guys will get the point tonight. Natchez either the assist or the goal, and Nathan McKinnon for the other. So could they both get 2? Absolutely. The 2+ points for both of these players is something I'm going to be sprinkling on tonight. So I think it's a really good game here for Colorado. I would look at those player points before I looked at anything else. Palmieri has been strong over there for the Islanders. He's been able to record those assists. So if you want to look at that. Mackenzie Blackwood, though, I trust in goal. So look tonight for Colorado for the shots on goal. Look for Nathan McKinnon and Natchez to be able to get on the board for their points. And then stay off the side, stay off the total, you guys. It doesn't make sense why we're getting a 5.5 per one. We got 8 goals in the last, 11 goals in the last game in New York, and they're giving us a 5.5 with juice to the over. And they're only putting Colorado as a short favorite. So it stinks. It really does. I don't like lines that stink. Drew in here for the goal. Oh, I like it. That's a nice one with Nathan McKinnon, Natchez, and Druin for the goal. So nice work. Fade the Islanders. Natchez is going to go off. I think he's going to go off as well. Okay, let's look at the next game here. My Calgary Flames are in action, you guys. Washington taking on the Calgary Flames. Now, we know Ovi. Ovi has been so strong. And looking at Ovi versus the Calgary Flames, 17 career goals in 25 games versus the Calgary Flames. Can he score on Dustin Wolf tonight? The young rookie has been so fantastically hot at home, and I'm excited for this one. I can hardly wait. I wish I was going to this game. I thought when I signed up to go to Saturday's game, this was the matchup, but this is not the matchup on Saturday. I believe it's the Red Wings versus Calgary that I'll be going to, but to see Ovi in action tonight would have been fantastic. The Calgary Flames are a plus 126 dog at home, minus 152 for the Washington Capitals. Total of 5.5, minus 110 to the over or the under in this one. I'm going to take this one under the total. Logan Thompson just got paid here for the Washington Capitals, and there's no better way than to take a goaltender that just got paid. Didn't work with Swayman. Swayman got paid, and he just hasn't looked like his record last season, but he held out, you guys, and I'm looking for Logan Thompson to just be lights out after getting paid, motivated to show his team that they did the right job in giving him that contract extension. Now, Dustin Wolf's been lights out at home on the season, 18-7-2, a 2.54 goals against average and a 916 save percentage overall. When we look at him this last month, his save percentage jumped up to 925. Complete stud between the pipes, and I love what we're seeing out of this young rookie. And then Logan Thompson being paid. It just is a full recipe for the under. Calgary also has seen Nazem Kadri step up at home. So if you want to look at a playmaker here, I'm not going to. We got the first team in the Metro with the Washington Capitals, 17-7-1 on the road. You've got Calgary so solid at home. Now they're 15-6-3 at home. They're below 500 out there on the road. And this is a pivotal stretch for the Calgary Flames right now. They have a long home stance and they need to get every single win they can, because when we look at them, they have a chance of making the playoffs if they can just continue to dominate here at home, sitting fourth in the Pacific right now. If they can't get these wins at home, they have no chance of making the playoffs. So look for the best effort out of Calgary. They know this. They know their success at home. They know they have to beat the Washington Capitals. I just don't know if they can. If you're going to take any goal scorer, it would be Ovechkin in this game. Give me the under. Give me Ovi for the goal. 17 goals in 25 career games against the Calgary Flames. So that's the only thing I'm going to bet for a player prop. I think this is a low scoring one. 5.5 is the total. Can we take it down to 4.5? Yeah, we absolutely could. Did I say Taylor Hall? Taylor Hall is with the Carolina Hurricanes. Yeah, Kadri should be able to get those shots on goal. Shots on goal for Kadri have been nice and strong. That is for sure. Okay. Let's look here at the Anaheim Ducks. The Anaheim Ducks taking on the Seattle Kraken. And I know Joe is out there and he's a Seattle Kraken fan. This is a really hard spot for the Seattle Kraken. Philip Grubauer in net tonight. Now, Grubauer is 5-14-1 on the season. He's got a 3.76 goals against average and an 870 save percentage. Not the numbers you want to see in your goaltender. I expected more out of Grubauer this season, and he's really dropped off. Now we'll see Dostal in net for the Anaheim Ducks. Dostal's 12-13-4 with a 2.43 goals against average and a 910 save percentage. Dostal's been a shining light here for the Anaheim Ducks. We know this Ducks team has been actually solid at locking down defensively. Now, there's a couple of playmakers we're going to look at here for the Anaheim Ducks, because I do think they have every possibility of rolling into Seattle and pulling off the win, because we look at the Seattle Kraken and what they had to travel to Edmonton to take on the Oilers in last night's game and then travel back home. They've been struggling defensively on the season, allowing 28.8 shots on goal per game. Allowing those shots on Grubauer is going to be a hard one for him to defend. Now, we're seeing they've lost their last 9 games on the second night of a back-to-back. So really hard situation. Yes, they lost that game last night 4-2. You know they're going to be motivated to come out and right their wrongs, but I don't think they're going to be able to do so versus the Anaheim Ducks. This is a scrappy team here. And I do think high-scoring game. Now, we could see the Seattle Kraken come in and win the first period. We have seen the Anaheim Ducks lose their last 5 first periods versus the Pacific. So I actually want to see it. I'm going in here, looking at the lines for this one. The Anaheim Ducks are at plus 112. The Seattle Kraken at minus 134. Total 5.5. Looking at this one going in, I will put some money on the Anaheim Ducks at plus 112. I do think we're going to get a better number just because of the slower starts we've seen for the Anaheim Ducks versus the Pacific. And then I want to come back in on the money line when we see the Seattle Kraken go up first. And that's what I'm hoping for. We haven't seen the Ducks play since Saturday. Again, you guys, I'm so confused with the day of the week this week. So we haven't seen them play since Saturday. They were able to get that 5-2 win versus the Predators. They've won their last 2. They're at Calgary on Thursday. I do expect that slower start. Look for Seattle to come out hot in the first period. If you want to take them first period puck line, I don't blame you, but I think we could see by the end of the first period, the Anaheim Ducks score. Look for Seattle to score first and then come back in on the Ducks at the plus 150 mark that we're probably going to get at that point with the Kraken up 1-0. I'm going to hit a couple of player props here. Troy Terry should be able to get on the board. 8 seasons with the Ducks. Now, it's crazy to think he has 110 goals and 158 assists in 395 games. So, you guys, he is nearing that 400 game mark, something to watch. He is nearing the 160 assists, another thing to watch, but 110 goals. Troy Terry versus the Seattle Kraken in his career, 6 goals and 8 assists in 12 games. So I'm looking for Troy Terry to be able to get the points on the board. 2+ points for Troy Terry. He's had 3 points against him this season, all in the form of an assist. So if you want to look at him for the assist tonight. Now, McTavish has scored at least 1 goal in each of the Ducks' last 3 games. So McTavish is on a little bit of a hot streak right now. But I do think Troy Terry and McTavish, between the two of them, you can parlay their points together or look at both of them for the goal. And one of them should be able to get it tonight and get us some plus money. But Troy Terry has a point in the last 3 games. One of those games he was able to get 2 points, and that was versus the Predators, the Penguins, and the Panthers. So being able to get that assist versus the Panthers as well. It should be a good game. We did see the Seattle Kraken allow 31 shots by the Edmonton Oilers last night. So we know these playmakers of the Ducks are going to get those chances on net. So it should be a good game out there, you guys. Yeah, McTavish is being nice and strong out there as well. Okay. The last game, we got the Dallas Stars taking on the Vegas Golden Knights. Now, looking at this matchup, we've got another total of 5.5. I do think this one has every possibility of staying under that total because of our goaltending matchup, because of the ability of both of these teams to lock down defensively. So if you like overs, I don't think this is a game for you. We know the playmakers on both sides are able to step up on any given night. Mark Stone, Jack Eichel have been so strong, and Thomas Hertl surprisingly strong as of late for the Vegas Golden Knights. So this total 5.5, I lean to the under at plus 108, and I lean to Vegas to be able to get the win at home in the Fortress. Vegas is coming in at minus 122 on the money line, plus 102 for the Dallas Stars. Jake Ottinger has been insanely good, though, and he could steal the Dallas Stars this win. Samsonov on the other side. I don't trust Samsonov. I don't know why it's not going to be Aiden Hill tonight. Vegas has been lighting the lamp. They've scored 3 or more goals in their last 5 games, and we have a Dallas team that has only given up 6 goals in their last 4. So Dallas defensively and Jake Ottinger should come in and hold this game to the under. I really do think the under 5.5 should be in play in a 3-1 win here for the Vegas Golden Knights. Now, can we see this one go to overtime? Absolutely. I do think this is an overtime battle. So I'm going to take this one to go to overtime. Both of these teams, you look at all their metrics on the defensive side of things, and they're in the top 10. So I'm looking for that defensive battle. Overtime win here, and I think the overtime win goes to the Vegas Golden Knights. You look at them at home in the Fortress, 19-6-1 at home. They're off the win versus the Florida Panthers, 4-1. They are facing the Columbus Blue Jackets on Thursday. Then they have a 4-game road trip on deck. It could be a harder game versus the Columbus Blue Jackets just because of that look-ahead situation. I do think they probably still beat the Columbus Blue Jackets, but you always have to look at those scheduling spots. And we do have the Dallas Stars. They've won their last 2. Saturday, they were able to get the 2-0 win over the St. Louis Blues out there on the road. They will face the Canucks at home on Friday. So they'll be back at home. They're sitting second in the Central. Their road record isn't stellar. You look at them at home, really solid home team, 13-10 only on the road for the Dallas Stars. So value is all over Vegas here, even at -122. We've also seen the Dallas Stars lose their last 4 on the road versus the Pacific. So the Pacific has given them troubles. Like I said, Thomas Hertl has scored at least 1 goal in 5 of the last 6 games here for the Vegas Golden Knights. So Thomas Hertl, really surprising step up for them. I'd look at Jack Eichel, Mark Stone, and Thomas Hertl for a point tonight. Parlay it together, and you should be able to get there even in a lower scoring game. So I like that. It should be a great day out there on the ice. So let's get into the recap, you guys. Again, I appreciate each and every one of you for joining me here on the daily recap time. Let's kick it off. The Chicago Blackhawks. The puck will drop at 7 o'clock with the Tampa Bay Lightning. I do think Tampa is the right side in this, even though they're returning home from a road trip. But I do think a live betting situation will come with the Chicago Blackhawks. I'm going to take the Tampa Bay Lightning first period puck line to come out nice and strong. They've won their last 4 periods at home versus a central opponent. And we've seen the Chicago Blackhawks struggle out there on the road, losing their last 7 games. Their playmakers and their defense really needs to step up. And Peter Mrazek has just been lit up because the defense isn't giving him any support. Look for Tampa to win the first period, but if Chicago goes down by a couple goals, I'm not opposed to Chicago plus 2.5 on that puck line. Look at Nikita Kucherov for the goal tonight at plus 115 for the 2+ points as well. Braden Point for the anytime goal scorer. And you know this team is going to be able to convert on the power play. So if you want to look at the power play points for those guys, I love it as well. Looking at the Carolina Hurricanes versus the New York Rangers, Mikko Rantanen was able to play 18 and a bit minutes in that last game versus the Isles, and I do think he comes out nice and strong in this one. I would look at him to be a huge impact player on this team for them and for them to be, or for him to be able to light the lamp tonight. But it's hard because this is going to be a lower scoring game. I'm looking for a bounce back out of Frederik Andersen here and for Igor Shesterkin to do what Igor has been doing all month, which is stand tall between the pipes. So this game, I think, goes under the 5.5. This game, I think you could alt to under 4.5. And I do think it's still under 4.5 has a possibility of going to overtime in a 1-1 style game. So I think this is a tight battle between these two teams, and I love all the underplays in it. The Boston Bruins and the Buffalo Sabres. I do think this one starts off nice and hot. Boston has dominated versus Buffalo. They're averaging just over 4 goals versus the Buffalo Sabres. But I think Buffalo in the first period knows they have to come out flying. They're off that loss to the Edmonton Oilers 3-2. Give me the first period over 1.5 goals. If Boston scores them both, then great. But I do think Buffalo has the opportunity of putting one up in the first period on Swayman. I also like both teams to score in the first period. Now, if you want to look at Boston's team total over 3.5, I do think it is another strong way to go. Look for Pasternak to find the back of the goal and Morgan Geekie to come out nice and strong as well. Those are your playmakers for Boston. Tage Thompson and Jason Zucker on the Buffalo Sabres. The Winnipeg Jets and the Montreal Canadiens. Give me the Jets first period puck line laying a 0.5 goal. We've seen Montreal have to fight their way back into these games. They've lost their last 4 first periods, and I do think this will end up being a tighter game than expected. So if the Jets go up by a couple goals, I'll be coming back in on Montreal plus the 2.5. The Colorado Avalanche and the New York Islanders. I do think the Avs have every ability of getting the win. The problem here is this line stinks, and I don't want to touch it. I also don't want to touch this total because it stinks as well. These teams put up 8 goals the last time they met up. The last time they met up in New York, they put up 11, and we got a total of 5.5. It doesn't make sense. Sorokin has been strong between the pipes, and so has Mackenzie Blackwood. Gun to my head, if I had to take the total, I would take it to the under, which doesn't make any sense but maybe we get these goaltenders really stepping up in this one. Nothing to do with the total, nothing to do with the side, because Colorado stinks at that price. It doesn't make sense for me. We might be in for a home upset, but I do think Necas comes out nice and strong, now added to this Colorado lineup. Give me Necas for 2+ points in this one. Necas for the anytime goal on that top line with Nathan McKinnon. I do think he comes out nice and strong. Now you could look at Casey Middlestat as well. We know Casey Middlestat has been a great playmaker for them. These teams, again, trended that over, so do what you want with that total. I will stay completely off of it. The Washington Capitals and the Calgary Flames. This game screams under all day. Logan Thompson getting paid, getting his extension. And Dustin Wolf, this rookie, has been phenomenal, especially at home. Look for this game to stay under the total of 5.5. If you want to look at Nazem Kadri for the shots on goal, I don't blame you here for the Calgary Flames. He really steps up on home ice. And then when we look at Ovi, we know we want to see Ovi get a goal, right? Even though I'm a Flames fan, Ovi has 17 career goals versus the Calgary Flames in 25 games. He would be your playmaker. The Anaheim Ducks and the Seattle Kraken, you guys. Dostal has been solid between the pipes. Philip Grubauer, I cannot trust at all. Seattle on the second night of a back-to-back. Even worse situation when they had to travel to go to Edmonton and play Edmonton last night, come back home to face the Ducks. This team has struggled defensively all season. I do think the Ducks have every possibility of pulling off the win. Now, the Seattle Kraken have lost their last 9 on the second night of a back-to-back, but we have seen them play stronger in that first period than the Anaheim Ducks have. The Ducks have lost the last 5 first periods. The value isn't where I want to see on the Ducks right now. Plus 112, I'll put a little bit of money on it, but I want to see Seattle go up first, and then I want to come back in on the Ducks at plus 150. If that happens, I will come back in on them. If I never get a number again that's so at plus money for the Ducks, then I'm okay with it because I'll put a little bit at plus 112. But I do think looking at these players for the Ducks to be able to light the lamp tonight, Troy Terry is my first pick, and then McTavish is my second. Both of those guys should be able to light the lamp tonight. And then again, the Dallas Stars versus the Vegas Golden Knights. I do expect this one to stay under the total with how strong Jake Oettinger has been. Samsonov will need the support, though, there for Vegas. But Dallas hasn't been scoring a lot of goals overall on the season. They love to play that defensive hockey, and I do think we get the defensive hockey. I think this one goes to overtime. I'd take the overtime bet, and I would take Vegas to get the win. Minus 122 here for the Vegas Golden Knights. Thomas Hertl has been so strong. He's been lighting the lamp. He's been able to get a goal in 5 of the last 6. And then Jack Eichel, Mark Stone. I think you can look at all of those playmakers tonight, even though it's a lower scoring game. Look at the points, parlay it together. But you guys, that is it for today. I want to thank you for joining me here on Puck It with Jo. We should have another great day of hockey tomorrow. Hopefully these overs and unders come the right side of things today. You guys, in the comments, let me know what you're liking today, what you're betting, what you're parlaying. I would absolutely love to hear it. And I want to thank you guys again for joining me here on Puck It with Jo, daily at noon Eastern. So 7 days a week, you can find us here on SportsGrid TV on X. Be back tomorrow. Let's make some freaking money. All the best to each and every one of you. Thanks, you guys, for joining me.